Kimmel controversy. Let's talk about it. What's up, my peeps? It's the turtle smashing, dragon punching, titan smashing, zombie blasting, race car drifting, multiplayer butt whipping, the collector of coins, rings, looms, rupees, and tanukis. I got food for self, emeralds for wealth, and med packs for health. I got the double jumps, turbo boost, time freezes, and invincibility. Leveled up all of my abilities. I run Vice City and made the Mushroom Kingdom better, and I am the first human Spectre. This is Mastermind, and welcome back. Watching people play video games on YouTube and Twitch, is that silly? Well, according to Jimmy Kimmel, yes it is. So recently, Jimmy Kimmel went on his TV show and he said that he thought video game watching on services like YouTube, and of course we've been doing this with Twitch for a long time now, those kind of services and that kind of activity he thought was silly. Now, before I break down why I disagree with him, there's a couple of things that I want to kind of discuss that it's not really on the surface of the conversation, and I kind of want to bring it to the surface. So the first thing I think we should ask ourselves is, why do we play video games? What's the point of even playing video games? I know that might seem like a silly question, but please just bear with me. Okay. The answer to that question isn't really obvious. There's no real answer. It would be like asking someone, why do you watch movies? Or why do you listen to music? When really the question should be, why do you watch that type of movie or listen to that kind of music? The reason why I bring this up is because there's been a terrible stereotype about video gamers for so many years. When I was young, it was like you were a nerd and you never went outside, you never did anything, and now it's, you know, you're causing violence and these mass shootings is because people are playing video games, and you're more aggressive and you're more violent. You have those kind of tendencies because you're a gamer or you're some little perv guy or whatever it is. So the stereotypes are just insane and they're really unfair. So the next thing I want to touch base on is the popularity and the huge influence video games has had throughout the world. It is the #1 form of entertainment in the world. It's the most watched, it's the most money spent on than anything. And it's had a huge influence on other forms of entertainment. All the tech and all the special effects behind films today comes from video games. Even a lot of the stories like Edge of Tomorrow or The Matrix and things like that. So the average video game player are males age 31. The most popular are males that are 36 and older. I think 55% of the industry is dominated by males, and then it's like 45 females. And that is probably right around the same exact demographics that watch shows like Jimmy Kimmel's. So he's kind of shooting himself in the foot by poking fun at the very people who are supporting him. It's also the huge demographic of people who watch movies like The Matrix, movies like Edge of Tomorrow, movies like any of the Marvel and the Batman films and the DC films. So video games has had a huge influence on entertainment, pop culture, and just worldwide culture, not just American culture or Japanese culture. And that brings me to another point. A lot of the people who in the past have tried to enter the entertainment industry, a lot of times they're not just, you know, typically we think of actors or stuff like that, but you got to think they're actors, they're comedians, there's people who want to produce, people who want to direct, they're artists, they're makeup artists, they're programmers, anybody who's doing any kind of special effects, there's musicians, all kinds of people. And a lot of them couldn't get jobs. The industry just isn't big enough to support all of those people in all those different fields trying to get in. So video games has kind of created a whole new opening for people like that. And you do have a lot of these talented musicians, talented artists, talented actors, voice actors, just all kinds of talent entering the video game industry. And as far as watching video games on YouTube and Twitch, a lot of people watch it for different reasons. It's not only because you're watching someone play a game that you can do yourself. I think Jimmy Kimmel's idea was, hey, you're already removed from going outside and playing and doing all this stuff. Typical nonsense that people believe. if you're a non-gamer, this is what you think of gamers. This is the stereotype. So here, Jimmy Kimmel is a mainstream guy who has his own TV show on network TV, and here he is criticizing and being that same bully in high school that a lot of people kind of are upset over still. And here he is coming out and saying that, and then his audience is like, yeah, applauding, and they're clapping, and they love it. Oh yeah, give me the meat. I'm eating it up. And a lot of people got upset over it. But the fact of the matter is, I watch streamers. I would be a hypocrite if I said that I didn't, because I put gameplay video footage all the time of myself even playing. This is what my channel is about. And hopefully I'm able to grow that and make money and be part of a huge industry like a lot of other people are. But if not, it's still a hobby, and it's still something I love to do, and that's the end of it. Okay, so to summarize, video games, #1 entertainment in the entire world. It has major influences on other entertainments in the world. It's providing jobs, and it's just adding a lot to our culture. And also the demographics, the main demographics, the most popular demographics for gamers is also pretty much the same ones that would be watching Jimmy Kimmel's show. So the last point, recently there is a video game designer by the name of Hideo Kojima. In video game circles, if you don't know who he is, he's a very, very popular guy who's created video games throughout history, but his most famous one is called the Metal Gear Solid video games. And he is parting ways with the company that has the rights to that. And he just made his last game. It just came out a couple of days ago, and a lot of people are upset and emotional and wish that he was gonna continue making these games with this company, but unfortunately they are parting ways, and that's just the way it is. He had a fan, a young kid by the name of Sean, and this kid loved his video games, loved the Metal Gear games, and had written him a letter, and Hideo Kojima was so moved and touched by it that he used it as inspiration for his team to work harder and get the game finished. Well, the kid, Sean, he passed away. He had cancer. And Hideo Kojima went in a recent mini documentary that I saw, and he went right when the game finished being created, and he visited Sean's family. And it was pretty emotional, because when his mother was talking, I believe it was his mother, when she was speaking about Sean, she said that Sean was able to do things. Sean was able to do things in the video game world that he couldn't do in real life. He couldn't run, he couldn't walk, he couldn't jump, he couldn't do the things that we take for granted, let alone what you do in a video game. So this person was able to live out his fantasies day in and day out because of video games. And it's just like anybody else who's ever had a hero who was a movie star or an athlete. You look at these people, or you look at these things on your screen, and it takes you somewhere else. And unfortunately, this kid passed away. But before he passed away, he was able to have joy in doing what makes him happy, and living vicariously through an on-screen image. And I think when you start kind of poking fun at video games and people who are into video games, or people who are into anything that they're passionate about, you're gonna get a negative reaction in return. And I think that's what's happened in this particular situation. I don't think it's gonna snowball too much past this, because I think really Jimmy Kimmel was just lighthearted in the whole thing. He needs to understand, just like anybody who thinks like him, that it's not just about the game and watching people playing game and being removed. Everyone has a different reason as to why they do it. Everyone has a different like. Everyone has a different style of game. I watch a lot of streams because I like to learn, maybe things that I can't do. There are experts and, people who do amazing things on the games that I can't do, or I don't have the time to do. I can't sit there and do it, so I watch them. Then there are other people who are just so funny, they're entertaining, and they bring a lot to the table, and that's why people tune in, and that's why people watch them. And then you have people like myself, where I try to be funny, and I try to come at things from an intellectual standpoint, and it's just a huge community. And when you sit there and you rip it, and then you realize that a good portion of your community is the same exact people, well, that kind of hurts your brand, doesn't it? So anyway, I hope Nothing but the best for Jimmy Kimmel. I hope this is a learning experience. And the last thing, I know that last point was supposed to have ended a few minutes ago, but the last thing I want to bring up is, as gamers, we need to stop allowing people to paint us in that way. So yeah, Jimmy Kimmel says something silly, something stupid, something whatever. Instead of us reacting like the way most of us are reacting, there's a few of you who are going out there and wishing him cancer, wishing him dead, wishing bad for his family. That is crazy. Don't do that, because you know what he's gonna do? Just like he did. He's not gonna show people like me. I will never get on his show. He'll never see this video. He'll never see my face. He'll never know anything about my opinions. But they're gonna find out. They're gonna search out people who are wishing this crazy stuff on him. And then he plasters your stupid comments. And maybe that's your 5 minutes of fame, but he plasters your stupid comments onto his show, and it makes us look bad. And why is that a bad thing? Because then it continues to feed that beast that is a stereotype that gamers are violent, they're aggressive, and every time there's a mass shooting or every time there's some kid that snaps in a school, the first thing they want to find out is, was that kid playing video games? It's unfair, and it's kind of like a vicious cycle. So I would ask that maybe we approach things from more of an intelligent perspective and not allow people to make a total mockery of us. But you know, it is what it is. That's life. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course, subscribe. Mastermind out.
Blasting y'all, overcasting y'all, cloudy days making waves, mastermind.